You're traveling through another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. A journey into the wondrous land whose boundaries are that of imagination. That's the signpost up ahead. Your next stop. Twilight Zone! Actually, no. You're in a really horrible voice meme for DeviantArt. Welcome. Come one, come all. Listen to an idiot. Questionnaire. Who wants to be a questionnaire? So on, so forth. I'm already out of puns. Let us begin. Sake Van Helsing asks, where is your favorite place in the world? Now see, it's questions like those that really irritate me. Those, what is your favorite XYZ? And you think, and your little neurons in your brain, they scatter back and forth, and they hunt through your memory banks, and they ask, what the hell is his favorite thing? We must know XYZ! And the problem is, the neurons do not know what XYZ is, because XYZ is not a sequence that is computable in our minds. Not mine, at least. Then again, saying my mind is typical mind is quite a fallacy in itself, isn't it? But if I did have to choose a favorite place in the world, I would probably choose Morocco? Okay, hear me out. Morocco looks like a pretty cool country. Yes, it's Islamic because, well, you know, the whole Abbasid Empire, Umayyad Empire, all that fun caliphate stuff that happened in the 7th and so on centuries. But they're actually very progressive for an Islamic nation. I mean, they're pushing the egalitarianism that is inherent of Islam very, very much. And it's nice to see them being progressive and actually very open to the Western world, kind of against the popular view of Islamic countries. But I digress. Besides, it snows in Morocco. Yes, it snows in Africa. So there's a city called Ifrane. I-F-R-A-N-E. And actually, it holds the coldest temperature. I honestly hope you didn't hear that. Ifrane has the coldest recorded temperature on the entire continent of Africa. Let's live there. That sounds like a pretty cool place. Next question. Sake Van Helsing asks, what inspired you to be a writer? Absolutely nothing in particular. I get urges, I listen to them. I'm a man. What did you expect? Question 3. Why did you pick Kaiken for your Sona? Welp, that actually kind of goes into a really mundane story, where I kind of needed a fursona, but I didn't have one. And so I was kind of like this amorphous blob. I'm kind of like Ditto at the beginning, really. I can be anything I want, but I didn't know what I wanted to be. So I'm just a pink gelatinous blob that may or may not be the failed clone of Mew. So, me and my fellow pal Navrix, because I was I was even more of a horrible and misanthrope than I am now, and only had a single person to talk to. And so what we did was pretty much just go through Wikipedia's list of dog breed pages. That's pretty much entirely it. Found Kaikens, they looked adorable. Super petable. Next question. What is your opinion on fried chicken? To those not in on the joke, I live in Kentucky. Welcome. You're in the Twilight Zone. Come on, guys. Just because the name is Kentucky Fried Chicken does not mean you should associate the entire state of Kentucky with fried chicken. You don't... Well, I guess people do associate incorrectly that Texas Roadhouse is Texas. It's Texan. It's actually from Indiana. Anyway. But I guess on the other hand, fried chicken is delicious. I can't deny it. It's so crispy and crunchy and delicious. You could get me into any restaurant by just saying they have fried chicken. I will compromise with any restaurant if I have that option. Fried chicken and a Coke. That's all I need for dinner. Yes, I need things other times, but usually I can just live with fried chicken. It's absolutely goddamn delicious. It's like chicken nuggets, but crispier and more delicious. How could you not want that? Question 5. If you could have any one wish, what would it be? I don't know. Question 6. When you turn 18, what's the first thing you want to do? Breathe. Next question. 7. What kind of car would you prefer to drive? A working one. I don't know. I don't care about cars. They are vehicles that get you from one position to another position in a relatively quick manner. They have both magnitude and direction. Usually at the same time. Not always at the same time, but usually. And, I don't know, a car is a car is a car. As long as it doesn't blow up or break down, I'm perfectly fine with it. There's no issue. Next question. If you could spend a day with your bros, what would you do? Probably video games, because we are all horrible misanthropes. At least to a certain extent. That is to say, we hate the company of most people. Number 9! Where the heck does the name Charmyte come from? Alright, kiddos, listen around, because this is going to be the bulk of the video from what it seems. Alright, so you must picture it. The year is 2008, the mystical lands of the past. A dream comes to the young guy again. About an alligator being flushed. Not the most creative dream, but also not the most symbolic either, but I don't really care about symbolism at all. But it stuck with me, so I thought, I'll write a story. Because I had those urges, as detailed in the prior question that I've already forgotten the number 2. So, I made a story. Well, correction, I made part of a story. Kind of got scrapped. Never to see the light of day again. But, the important thing was that I needed a character. Not the gator. I already have the gator. Gator is firmly in mind. I needed another character. One with a quirk. One that kind of stands out from the obvious. But I needed a similar name. Something unique. Something that hadn't been used anywhere before. Now, in 2005, the wondrous people over at Sonic Team decided that they would listen to a family to give, quote, Sonic a gun. But they decided, well, Sonic is kind of impossible to have a gun. Shadow, on the other hand. And so Shadow the Hedgehog was born. A severely underrated game in the Sonic franchise. I really like Shadow the Hedgehog. Yes, it's not the best by any means. It's not the best looking. It's not the best handling. It's not the best sounding. It's not the best plot. Not the best voice acting. But it's very damn fun. And that's why I play it, and I love it. Besides, it does have some really cool songs. Particularly Chosen One. To the uninitiated, there are branching storylines, much like the children favorite choose your own adventure books, wherein you can go on branching paths, and in this case there are 5 different end levels. And for the 4th end level, Cosmic Fall, you got a song in your credits that was unique, and it was called Chosen One. And I know that the name at the time was A2, but they've changed it to Mona Lisa Overdrive if you're really that curious and don't want to go to Blackbird's channel. Oops. Well, their singer, at the time, sounded a bit blurry, slurry in his pronunciation, and so the lines, wish I may, wish I might, somehow got misconstrued in my ears through Mondegreen as Charmyte, and it stuck with me for whatever reason at all. C! You have to realize at this point that the character for the story was going to have a salamander, and salamanders are beasts of fire by myth because they hid in logs, and when people would be idiots and pick up the logs and throw the logs in the fire, salamanders would cry out, and people would be all stupid and be like, oh, the salamander was birthed by the fire! And so they associated salamanders with fire. And so it made perfect sense. Char might be the name of the actual salamander, and she'd just get her name from her pet. for some idiotic reason I explained to myself some years ago. Needless to say, the story kind of fell through. But I like the name. Because, from what I could tell, it wasn't anywhere else. Nowhere else was there a Charmyte. Charmyte. Absolutely nowhere. It's the only one. So, of course, I'm going to capitalize on this. And that's why the majority of where you would see me, I'm under the name Charmyte. Because it's pretty much the only guarantee that I have the unique name. Now watch, the next site I try to go to, Charmer's already been taken. Arrgh, those devious fools. Next question. If you could only eat one thing for the rest of your life, what would it be? One thing at all. The obvious answer here is pizza, but the problem with pizza is that it's too cheesy and too saucy, and it really gets old pretty fast, because the substance, the actual chewy part's the bread, and I don't particularly care for bread. So the chewy part would kind of wear out fast, and so I'd only be left with the flavors of cheese and sauce, and while very good flavors of cheese and sauce, I don't particularly care for them when they're the only thing I can eat day in and day out. On the contrary, fried chicken would get dull really fast, because it is too crunchy and doesn't have a lot of the zing and tangy stuff that pizza has. And so it would grow dull really fast. Now the other option here, the other third option, like the bull moose party, bull run, whatever, is popcorn shrimp, because popcorn shrimp is delicious. If you haven't eaten popcorn shrimp, stop watching this video right now. Go out right now, get some. You can buy it at a store. Eat some popcorn shrimp. Back? Okay, good. Popcorn shrimp is delicious. However, it falls into many categories as fried chicken, and that's the same problems. And so, I can't think of a really one food I want to eat for all eternity. Where was I? Oh yes, food. I don't have an answer. I really can't just choose one food to eat for all eternity, day in and day out. Because on the whole, that's a really poor idea. Like, really, incredibly bad. Seriously. Besides, would food constitute drinks in it as well? Because then I'd have an even bigger conundrum, because if I could only eat food, I would die of hydration. Such are the loopholes you must beg the question of. Speaking of questions, there are more. Those of which we will not get to right now. So what are you waiting around here for? Get out.